Today is December 5th, 2023. The time is 5:08 a.m. The title of this video is Did the 2001 World Conference Against Racism Lead to 9/11 Terrorist Attacks? In this video, I will proffer the question, did the 2001 World Conference Against Racism lead to 9/11 terrorist attacks? I will begin with the symbolic meaning for me of Elon Musk's visit to Kfar Aza. In my prior video, I asked the question, is this the hand of Yahweh made by Hamas' path to destruction in Israel? Elon Musk's life and accomplishments match with key elements of the Israeli-Hamas conflict, confirming my beliefs that this is the hand of Yahweh. And how I come to believe this is, number one, Elon's name. El, meaning Elohim or God. Elon owns a tunnel boring company. He's from South Africa. Nelson Mandela is from South Africa. And the conference against racism was held in Durban, South Africa in September of 2001. And I'll go through the story and see if you can come up with an answer to my question. I want to read a little bit what President Hertog had to say. Israeli president tells Musk he can play a role in fighting anti-Semitism. Israeli President Isaac Herzog told Elon Musk, the owner of the social media platform X, that the billionaire can help combat the anti-Semitism that lurks underneath and impacts so many societies during a meeting as part of Musk's visit to Israel. This document is the U.S. Department of State archive, World Conference Against Racism. Secretary Colin L. Powell, Washington, D.C., September 3rd, 2001. Today, I have instructed our representatives at the World Conference Against Racism to return home. I have taken this action with regret because of the importance of the international fight against racism and the contribution that the conference could have made to it. But following discussions today by our team in Durban and others who are working for a successful conference, I am convinced that will not be possible. I know that you do not combat racism by conferences that produce declarations containing hateful language, some of which is a throwback to the days of Zionism equals racism, or supports the idea that we have made too much of the Holocaust, or suggests that apartheid exists in Israel, or that singles out only one country in the world, Israel, for censure and abuse. I deeply respect the goals of South African President Mbeki and Foreign Minister Zuma in hosting this conference. I strongly support the good work of Secretary General Annan to try to make it come out right. The United States and delegations interested in a successful outcome had worked productively in Durban on the other key issues of the conference and were hopeful that they could be resolved. I wish that could have turned out more successfully. Released on September 3rd, 2001. This is Benai Birth, International, Durban at 20. About Durban. The World Conference Against Racism, held by the United Nations in Durban, South Africa in 2001, perversely earned notoriety as the setting for shocking attacks against Israel and Jews. The conference's Durban Declaration and Program of Action, DDPA, singled out only Israel, the world's sole Jewish state, the Middle East's sole pluralistic democracy, for implied characterizations as racist. The NGO forum at Durban went even further, defining Israel as a racist apartheid state, guilty of genocide and alien domination of Palestinians, and urging discrimination only against those positively engaging with it. Jewish partners in Durban were subjected to verbal abuse and threats of physical harm. Rally signs and printed materials at Durban featured anti Semitic symbols and canards, the glorification of Nazism, and explicit incitement to terrorist violence against Israelis. Even UN officials were forced to decry the nauseous anti Semitism that overtook Durban. Nonetheless, the UN held follow up meetings reaffirming the DDBA, including the Durban Review Conference in Geneva, Switzerland in 2009, which was addressed by Iranian President Mohammad Ahmadinejad, a Holocaust denier who had openly called to wipe Israel off the map. The UN Rights Council continues to have a standing agenda item dedicated exclusively to the propagation of the DDPA. And on September 22nd, 2021, the UN General Assembly commemorated Durban's 20th anniversary with a high level summit. B'nai B'rith International, the world's oldest and most widely known Jewish organization, which has led Jewish communal engagement with the UN since its creation and is distinguished by membership globally, brought the largest Jewish delegations to the Durban conference and its follow up meetings. B'nai B'rith ultimately walked out of Durban, as did the United States and Israel. B'nai B'rith also advocated for the world's major democracies to boycott the Durban follow up meetings, as many did, and organize high level counter programming upon Durban's 10th anniversary in 2011 and 20th anniversary in 2021. We have taken action by raising our voices in key UN forums, in published op eds, and in online programs, meeting with ambassadors from around the globe to build awareness of Durban's toxic legacy, and planning events to provide a truthful and just response to misguided celebrations of Durban, the critical fight against anti Semitism, like the genuine and necessary fight against all forms of racism, demands nothing less. As with the successful struggle to rescind an infamous 1975 UN resolution equating Zionism and racism, we are determined to ensure that bigotry never finds a platform in international institutions. Please join us and check this page for new Durban updates and resources. And this is remembering September 11th. On September, thousands of people headed for the World Trade Center. Okay, let's just go there. Let's see where I want to go. Right here. American Airline Flight 11 hit the North Tower at 8:46 a.m. The impact of the crash tore a hole that stretched from the 93rd to 99th floor of the building. Smoke and flames poured out of the tower. Many people thought they had just seen a terrible accident, but 17 minutes later, a second plane flew into another one of the World Trade Center buildings, this time into the South Tower. United Airlines Flight 175 crashed into the 77th through the 85th floors of the South Tower at 9:03 a.m. Some cell phone and TV station cameras caught the second attack on film. The footage was played over and over again on television. Soon people knew that hijackers, individuals who captured an aircraft, ship, or vehicle by force, had taken over the planes. A group of men had taken control of the cockpit of each airplane and flown them into the buildings on purpose. The United States was under attack. About half an hour after the second tower was struck in New York City, hijackers crashed a third airline. American Airline Flight 77 hit the west side of the Pentagon, a five-sided concrete building that serves as headquarters for the U.S. Department of Defense in Arlington, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. The plane's fuel tanks exploded, and two giant fireballs blasted into the air. Now, this is United Nations. It's dated August 30th, 2023. Case before International Court of Justice will expose Israel's prolonged illegal policies, permanent observer tells Palestinian Rights Committee. Now, I won't read the entire thing, but I just want to go down and highlight just a few things. I'll put links in the description. Michael Link, former special rapporteur, then briefed the committee on the study it commissioned regarding the legality of the Israeli occupation, underscoring that no one can say the subject has been treated lightly or thinly. While many features of the 56-year-old Israeli occupation are illegal in themselves, the study's central aim is to answer the question of whether the occupation itself is illegal, and if so, to outline the consequences for Israel, the international community, and the United Nations. The concept of illegal occupation is not a new idea in international law. The United Nations has stated that South Africa's rule over Namibia, Portugal's rule in Ghana, Bissau, and Israel's occupation of the Palestinian territories are illegal occupation. Patients. He noted that the study highlights three preemptory norms that can determine if an occupation has become illegal, including whether the occupying power has moved to annex any part of the occupied territory, whether that power has breached the right to self determination of the people under occupation, and whether that power has instituted policies of discrimination or apartheid in the occupied territory. A breach of any of these norms would indicate that an occupation has become illegal. A breach of all three would be conclusive evidence of such illegality. The study concludes that Israel, as the occupying power, is in gross violation of all three of these norms and is therefore a bad faith occupier. Israeli Ambassador Gilad Erdan calls Hamas attack on Israel truly unprecedented. This is our 911. Do you see the similarities? Do you see the similarities? Here, Israel is being accused of being, it says, it, it, it- Israel is in gross violation. I'll just read it. He noted that the study highlights three preemptory norms that can determine if an occupation has become illegal. He mentions this. A breach of any of these norms would indicate that an occupation has become illegal. A breach of all three would be conclusive evidence of such illegality. The study concludes that Israel, as the occupying power, is in gross violation of all three of these norms and is therefore a bad faith occupier. This is dated August 30th, 2023. And then October 7th, 2023, they experienced their 9/11. Here in the United States, on September 3rd, there was the World Conference Against Racism that was attacking Israel's right to exist. And what happened? We get a 9/11. I'll leave it there.